Hello my friends, welcome or welcome back. I am your local art witch, and today we are going to be looking through this Herbal Astrology Oracle. I found this quite a while ago. I'm finally getting to it. Let's look through this. It is a pull deck and it's got these little tabs for your fingers to fit in. Let's look at the book here. Ooh. Okay, so it is black and white and quite thick as well. Nice hefty box. Oh, look at this. This is the inside cover. You are the medicine. I really like that. The cards themselves. Here are the backs. That's very pretty. So I'm seeing these animals. I'm sorry, I'm taking a moment. Because it's an herbal astrology, I am noticing the lions, but there's deer and rabbits, so I think it's pulling in other astrology practices. Oh, they're thick. They're thick. I'm just gonna grab a card. This is my Modern Witch Tarot. These oracle cards are quite a bit wider and a little bit taller than a tarot card. Now let's look. I'm so excited. I haven't looked at this deck in quite a while, so. Okay, so we've got lavender, so we see numbers. We have Mercury here. We've got a lot of images. This does give me a sense of peace where this lady is walking through these beautiful fields. She's got a resting baby on her back. And it says Weaver, so that would explain why the spider is there. Here's the full card. I cannot believe how thick these are. Palo Santo, that's the guardian. So we have the south node here, and this is Pluto. We have this spirit, this cleansing. Oh, look at the little fox, and he's got a star on his head. It will be really interesting to look at the book to see what it says about all of the imagery we're seeing. And I'm assuming that this forest that we're in here is based on the type of forest you would find Palo Santo in. St. John's wort. And that is for radiance. Let's look. Look at that. I really like all of the energy. I like this imagery of the rainbow, but the house on fire is a little concerning. Ooh. Rosemary, ancient memory. So let's see. She gives me a bit of a Virgin Mary feel. This is Mercury, and we have the sun here. I do study astrology. I want to start reading astrology charts for people, and knowing these associations in these cards is quite helpful, and I'm hoping it will build my associations with the herbs. Mugwort. Psychic healing. That is so pretty. So we have the moon here and Neptune. We have the phases of the moon here. The pentacle. Oh, so we've got the divine goddess and then these other two phases of the moon. I really like that. I like I'm seeing some diversity in ages. Yeah, so we have young ladies, we've got older ladies, and there is a little bit of diversity in skin tones so far. Oh, that's really pretty. Pluto, Jupiter, and Neptune here for this plant. Oh, look. It's a little bit, it's a fetus in utero, and we see the umbilical cord, and it's attaching to this inner circle here. Oh, and then there's like DNA. There is so much on each of the cards. Elder wisdom. And these little fairies. Jupiter and Pluto. So that's really interesting associations. Wisdom. Yes, okay, yeah, because higher learning, growth. Okay, I just needed to think about it for a second. We have cannabis for detachment, We've got Saturn and Neptune here, which is opposing energies. Saturn is about discipline, about structure, and then Neptune is kind of, it's really outside that. It's being able to tell the real from the fake, that type of stuff. That is really pretty. Valerian. That is so pretty. We have Neptune, and this person looks like they've spiritually ascended. Acceptance, right? I like the little mouse. Look at all of this. Who is this deck by? Adriana Ayales and Josephine Clerks. I am really liking the art style. It looks painterly. It doesn't look like it was done digitally. There's nothing wrong with digital art. That is what I mainly do. But I really like that this looks like, particularly the cover here, it looks like there was watercolor and done traditionally, like pen, paper. The dandelion. So here's the wounded healer. Yep, I was thinking. So we have Chiron, who is the wounded healer, plus Jupiter. That expanded growth, healing. That's really gorgeous. The dandelion is my very favorite plant. Reishi, retreat. Jupiter and the sun. Oh, it's a mushroom, isn't it? That I was seeing a kidney, so I'll have to read the book. I like those clouds. Hibiscus for joy. Oh, look at her. I really like this crown she has. We have Venus and Pluto up here. A hummingbird. Oh, look, I didn't even notice that there's multiples of her. Joy. Ginseng. We have a magician, and he's holding his plants. This is Uranus and Jupiter here. He looks like he's on a stage, and this wheel. Oh, look at that. So this wheel has markings on it, like there's passage of time. It does remind me of the Wheel of the Year. So there's 8 spokes, so I do think it is calling into this Wiccan aspect. I'm not going to try that word, but this plant of transfiguration. Yeah, and I think that's just like the flower and the pistil on the inside. We have Mars and Pluto here, so yeah, we should be seeing a lot of activity, which works for transfiguration. Calendula. I think of this as a pretty healing plant. We have it here as purity. We have a little child. That is so cute. It's like I feel like I'm stepping into a fairy tale. Yarrow for harmony. Oh, look at the stork. Venus. So we've got this nice plant. I really like for my herbal decks to have an image of the plant that I am trying to learn about, and having a little keyword is quite helpful. And then these other things of imagery. When I see a stork, I do think of like a gentle type of spirit. I think because when we were children, now you learn about the stork who brings the babies, and they would have to be hardworking, gentle animals, right? Ooh, yep, mandrake for sensuality, because the mandrake, when you pull it by the roots, it can look quite human-like. We've got the seeds and the plants, or sorry, the flowers. Ooh, we've got some Egyptian imagery here. Neptune and Venus as the planetary associations. Ginkgo, breakthrough. Wow, I really like this card. I like the look of the sword and the crown and the crow. Mars and Uranus here. Ashwagandha, purpose. We've got the North Node and the Moon. These are, I believe, the chakras of the body. That's really pretty. Skullcap for stillness. We've got a scorpion. Yeah, so we've got Pluto and Saturn here. We've got these images of, I was going to just say time, but these sand timer things. Oh, and then this is like an unbecoming. I think that this would be very useful even in a general read. I was just going to use this deck as like a study deck to grow my associations with plants, but I think I'm going to be able to use this deck for a lot more. Horsetail, patience. So we've got a horse. Oh, what is that? I wonder if that's the seed part of the plant. We have Saturn and Venus up here. I really like how they did the water. That's really pretty. I like these little swirls of magic. This feels like a very magical, powerful deck. Oh, neat. Motherwort. strength. We have the lady, we have a lion. This is Venus, very feminine energy. So I get this idea of like a wise woman, and we see the uterus being shown here. That's really neat. When generally, at least in my part of the world, in my culture, the way I was raised, this is inherently weaker, the uterus, like those of us who own one. This as strength is not normally seen. You normally see like these big, muscular men. Lion's mane, leadership. We've got Mercury and Uranus here. That's really cool. Cow, initiation. That's really interesting. Poppies. They're so pretty. They do not look like how in November in Canada, we have Remembrance Day, and we'll have like these little red poppies with these black centers. And that's what I think of as a poppy. But these don't look anything like those little things that we wear. I really like this. I love this watercolor feel. I love that the planetary associations on each card are fairly clear. There hasn't been very many, now that I'm thinking of it, that I couldn't see well. I think this one might be one of them, just because it could potentially blend in with this other gold situation, but that's a very small complaint. Oh, this one I guess is a little difficult. Rhodiola. This plant of wisdom. We have a unicorn. Somehow I didn't notice it the first time. It is really neat. Like, it's got like a mandrake type of root, but the top here looks a little bit, it reminds me of a dandelion. I'm sure if I looked at the actual plant, it wouldn't make me think of a dandelion. Oh, this is cute. Psilocybin commune. So we have these mushrooms. I imagine that this is a hallucinogenic mushroom, or at least I'm assuming, because we have these images of these fairies, and we have Pluto here, so some big energies in this card, or in this plant, I should say. Milk thistle. Mars and the moon. Oh, she's got like a badger on her head. Rose for love. I like these interclasping hands. And then a Cupid's bow through a heart. I'm not sure about all this blood. That could, but I guess like love can be pretty intense, can't it? Sage for blessing. I like that. Look at that. I'm in trouble. This deck is staying in my collection. I haven't kept a deck in a long time. That is really pretty. Oh, look, they've got these little wings. Damiana, the beloved. Very interesting. Nettle. Neat. Yes, plant of action. I like that it has these Mars associations. That makes sense to me. Nettle can be quite stingy. So it's a very, I would assume it's probably a masculine plant, masculine energy. Coca, foresight, pretty. I really like the different ages I'm seeing. I like seeing older women be depicted. I don't think I'm noticing very many, if any, men. Pretty passion flower. That is a very pretty flower. Yes, kava. Kava. This might be the plant I was thinking of earlier, where you chew it and then they spit it back in this pot, and then it's the human saliva that helps the plant to decompose a specific way, and then they drink it later. It looks like that's what they could be doing, but do not quote me. That's really neat in community. Death. The angel's trumpet. That makes sense. The trumpet calling you home. Yeah, we have a little altar here. A travel altar. Rue. This is a plant I always really enjoy. We have this symbol of eternity up here. The sun and Pluto. Very pretty. Oh, these kind of look like little hearts all over the place. Protection. This plant of grace, that is pretty. We've got these swans, a person pouring from one cup to the other. Shape shifting. This is pretty. Look, I really like this. Wow. Pao Darko, metamorphoses. Look at those flowers. Cordyceps. Oh, this is such a wild plant. So it is a fungus, generally in the like hot, damp, like humid regions. And this plant scares the living daylights out of me because it infects creatures nearby it and slowly takes them over, taking control of like their nervous system, and then they'll make them crawl to like a high place, like particularly the ants for sure. So that way when they die or they begin to die, they'll use their pinchers to really grasp in, and then they die, then the plant is able to spread his spores onto the poor ants below. So that's a wild plant. Arnica teacher. I love this. The stars up here. A lot of plants kind of look like daisies, don't they? These, I would have a hard time telling the calendula plant, I think, from this arnica plant. Blue lotus for intuition. That is pretty. Oh, look. They look like crystals anyway. And we've got this a lot of really gorgeous imagery here. Cat's claw for purification. Very pretty. Tulsi. Neat. I really like the variety of cultural outfits I'm seeing. Like, she does look like she's in India. Lemon balm. There we go. This is one I'm a little bit more familiar with. That is so pretty. Bobansana. Trust. That's a pretty plant. I like these little DNA strands that they keep using. Echinacea. Destiny. That is a pretty one. I like this rainbow. Tobacco for offering. That makes sense. That used to be an offering for certain tribes. I'm sure they still do. Gotu kola. Look at that. Neat. Amanita. So it's these neat little mushrooms, like the picturesque mushrooms that you see. Chamomile. Inner peace. Look at the little deer. That is, oh look, there's a person. I like that. Dragon's blood. So that's what it looks like. Oh look, we have like a little dragon spirit here. Comfrey for completion. This is Capricorn. And then Saturn. So Saturn does kind of rule Capricorn in the newer system. Mucuna for journey. Looks like a spiritual journey just because of the eye. That's neat. Let's try shuffling. And then I'll do a riffle. I really like how they feel in my hands. Like they're smooth. Kind of like this matte situation, but they don't grip, but they're not too slippy either. Even though this is a bit of a smaller, thinner deck, I'm not sure I'll be able to riffle it just because the cards are thick. That is a thing I personally prefer in a deck, but it may not be for you. Some of these are going to be upside down, aren't they? Barely. I can't really riffle. I really like this deck. It is gorgeous. Oh, I got some of them upside down anyway. I'm excited to get through this book. And it looks like the entire book is English. That, for me, is good because it tells me that each card I'm going to get a lot of information on. I do like decks that have multiple languages in it. The low Scarabeo decks are really, really good for that. However, because there's so many languages, it's like bare bones information, which can be good. That way you can make your own associations with the cards, especially if you're practicing regularly. But especially for something I'm not as familiar with, I really want like more information. And because I'm seeing like different tribes, different cultures here, I'm going to want a little bit more information. And of course, to triple check it, check the resources that they use. Hopefully there are some here. And if not, it would probably be easy to find on their website. I wonder who put this deck out. You know what? It's probably in here. Published in the States by Hay House. So I would want to check out them to see if I could get more information. I do see that they have it in like sites in Australia and the UK. Oh, and in India. So I know sometimes, like I've seen online, especially with Australia, it can be really difficult to get certain things because of shipping. So it looks like this would be a fairly easy deck to get a hold of. 2022. I will make sure to put all of that information in the description, like where you could possibly find this deck. Let me know what you think of this deck. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm ready to use it. I'm so excited. Thank you for sticking around. It's always a lot of fun to hang out with y'all, and every time I sit down and I'm looking through cards, I feel like I'm learning something new. So that was the Herbal Astrology Oracle. It has 55 cards in it. It is absolutely gorgeous. I really like it. Once again, all the information will be in my description if you feel called toward this deck. And I'll see you all again next time. Take care. Bye-bye for now.